name's Dave. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Crawf Outdoors. So this film is just a short trip into the lakes for one nighter. I'm just come over Hard Knot Pass, which is an exciting drive, and parked at the bottom, the sort of western end, just before Boot. And my plan is I want to go and spend the overnight at Little Narrowcove, and I picked that because Wainwright, in one of his pictorial guides, says this is a lovely place for an overnight camp. So who am I to disagree with Wainwright? But I tried to find it once before and couldn't locate it, and then I've been onto Google, and it's an access route, a lesser used access route up to Scafell Pike, and people say it's rough and rocky and a bit challenging, and there was even a report of 2 people being rescued by a mountain rescue office. So I'm a little bit intrigued as to where the wild camping is, if it's as steep and rough and rocky as that. I'm going to head off a little bit off to the right on the way up to a little bit of an explore, because the distance isn't great today, and then locate Little Narrowcove and head up there, which I think gets quite steep as it's starting to ascend towards Scafell Pike, and hopefully find somewhere nice for an overnighter. The weather's been a bit unsettled. It's mid-August, a little bit cool, about 15 degrees, cloudy, but the forecast said it was going to be just dry and cloudy and a light wind, so hopefully be alright. And tomorrow doesn't sound quite as nice, bit of rain coming, but then I'll be heading back home. So I'll head off along here and then speak to you later. I'm walking up Lower Eskdale, beautiful scenery around here, hills and crags up to my right, and the river Esk down there. I'm on the right bank heading up. I need to be on the left bank eventually to get to my destination, but this is the little detour trip that I've decided to take, heading up first to the right, and then tomorrow when I walk back down I will be coming back down on the other side on a path over there, which you may be able to see if we zoom in a bit. Just above there is the path going along, so that'll be my route back down tomorrow. It's beautifully peaceful. There are a few other people around, but considering it's mid-August, then it's a beautiful tranquil scene, and just the Lake District at its best. I've been going about an hour now, just gentle walking, very nice easy walking along the bank of the River Usk. There's the path, so you can see there's no challenges in that. It's just a beautiful setting. Could do with slightly brighter weather, it's rather cloudy, and I've arrived at Lincoln Bridge. There's a couple of people sitting on it up there, and then just down here, as you can see, is the waterfall gushing down. So my plan is actually to follow the river up to the right there, which gets progressively steeper, as you can see, so that's going to be a little bit of a climb, and then I'll be coming down and following that river up over that side, which leads up over to the destination for the evening. Right, it's turned into a lovely day now. As you can see, the sunshine has come up. I'm diverted off the path up Eskdale, and I'm now following Lingmel Beck, and it's a beautiful part of the lakes this. It's much more remote, picturesque, distant, and having said that, there's 2 people just appeared behind me. But otherwise, yes, it is beautiful countryside round here. And there's the Lingmelbeck, and I'm heading up this way to a place called Bowfell Links, which lies between Bowfell and Crinkle Crags. And the reason I'm going there is to check it out as a wild camping spot. I quite like to check out wild camping spots while I'm on my walks to find places for future reference, and this was mentioned by someone, so I'm checking this out, and then I'll be starting to head back down towards Eskdale and then over to my overnight spot of Little Narrowcove. I've arrived at the spot I was looking for. It's called Three Tarns because there are three beautiful little tarns. I think I gave it a different name earlier on the map, Bowfell Links, and so looking up there is up to Bowfell, and if we go round the other way we'll be heading over towards Crinkle Crags, and then if we head over this way now, and this would be a beautiful little spot to pop a tent up. It's quite remote, although there are a few people here, but it's wonderful views, and that's looking over to Scafell Pike and Broad Crag. Oh, look at that shot there. There we are on lookout. It's coming up towards 4:45 now. I've descended from that lovely Three Tarns area that I showed you previously, and I've rejoined the River Esk, which is here, which I started on this morning and then diverted off for my little detour. So I'm now back on the right bank of the River Esk, heading up to Upper Eskdale, and the scenery here is much more rugged and majestic. High crags up there with scree slopes coming down below them, and heading up there towards Scafell Pike. The river, as you can see, is very low, being very little rain, so it's just almost trickling along. But I did manage to fill my bottles just previously, and I've stopped and had a cup of tea and an energy bar, so I'm feeling a bit refreshed. So hopefully within the next hour I should be heading up towards my camping area, and I'll speak to you again when I get there. Well, I've arrived at Little Narrowcove, and I'm not that impressed with Wainwright's suggestion for a lovely wild camping spot. Up there is the route up to Scafell Pike. There are some impressive crags around. That's the sort of narrow ravine down there, and that's where I've come up from. But there's nowhere really to pitch a tent that's flat. As you can see, I'm on quite a slope there, and that was the best I could find, because otherwise you're looking at camping, pitching a tent on land like this. So that's where I've ended up, picking the best bit I could find, but hardly the perfect spot. I think I'm going to roll down towards my feet, so I hope I get a good view in the morning or something to compensate, because it was quite a tough climb up here, and I'm quite tired out. Anyway, it's beautifully peaceful, there's no one around or in sight. There is a sort of path up here heading up to Scafell Pike, but it's not a widely used route, so I'm pretty hopeful there won't be people coming up and down first thing in the morning, and in any case I won't be hanging around. So, tent is a Big Agnes Tiger Wall 2, and I'm delighted with it. It's a 2-person size, which I used to have a 1-person Van Gogh blade, and I realised that one person needs a double tent to keep all your gear in, have room to move and breathe. So it's 2-person, 2 doors, 2 porches, and even with a footprint and everything else, pegs and bags and poles and the lot, it's only 1.3 kilos, which is incredibly light, and it seems incredibly well made. It's really nice, the zips move well, so nice little tent, very pleased with it. So it's time to get my gear sorted and get ready for the night. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock. I didn't have too good a night because of the slope. My sleeping bag kept sliding down the tent, and that was despite putting my rucksack under my sleeping mat. That was a trick I learnt from the porters on a Kilimanjaro trip I did, where some of the camps were very rough and uneven. It helps, but it doesn't stop it. And it's just have a look round. It's not such a good morning. I'm up completely in cloud cover, as you can see. Can't see a thing around here. There's my little tent, and that's the view up to the top, up towards Scafell Pike. So I think I'm just going to pack up as quickly as I can and head down, and hope that when I get down the visibility will improve, and that it's just because I'm high up. I've descended down from Little Narrowcove. That was quite tricky because visibility was very poor, and it's quite steep, and the rocks were slippery and the grass. So I took my time, made it down, but as you can see, it's a grim old day down here. It's very overcast. Up there you can see it's still shrouded in cloud. That's what I came down through. So I've come back down to the River Eskdale Valley, and I'm just going to make my way home as quickly as I can, because this really is no fun at all. And I'll get back to the car and have a cup of tea there. I've not had any breakfast because I just packed up in the rain and left. I'm back down at my vehicle now, about 11 o'clock. The weather improved slightly as I came down. The squally rain showers seemed to peter out, but the visibility up on the tops still looks pretty cloudy. As you can see, they're shrouded in cloud, but lower down it was clear enough. I was searching for Wainwright's Little Narrowcove, found it eventually, bit of a hike up, but I wonder, it is a dramatic place. It feels quite remote. It's in below the shadow of Scafell Pike, and it's in a sort of deep ravine and towering crags around it, and there is a bit of grass up there, but I wonder whether Wainwright ever actually did camp there, because there's nowhere that's really flat enough. I found the flattest bit and was sliding down all night. And then the weather this morning, getting up in that, raining, and couldn't see a thing in the mist and the cloud, so overall a curtailed trip, but glad I went. Anyway, time to load into the car and then head home. If anyone is interested in the route I took, we'll have a quick look at it on the map. So I drove over Hard Knot Pass here and parked down there, and then crossed over the road and followed this path up here along the right bank of the River Esk, but at this point branched off along Little Narrowcove Beck, and then up to this point here, the Three Tarns that I told you, which are a lovely spot, but as you can see, very busy with footpaths, so might get a bit busy if you were camping there. Back down here, just over to the River Esk again, and now followed this path along Scar Lathing there, up here, crossed over there, on up here, and then this was my destination, Little Narrowcove. And I camped somewhere up about here, I think. And then I just said the weather wasn't very good at all, down and retraced my steps all the way back down to the car park and then home from there.